gentlemen, welcome to my class interview with Mr. Emam. Mr. Emam is a first generation immigrant who came to the United States and established residency in Iowa. Welcome, Mr. Emam.
Thank you.
Mr. Emam, tell me about yourself.
Okay, I'm originally, as you all know, from Sudan. I immigrated in 1997 to the States. I went to school partially in Louisiana, and I graduated from University of Iowa with a bachelor's degree in 2005 and a master's degree in 2008. I currently work as a software engineer at Waptec Railway Electronics in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Are you married?
Yes, I just got married about a year ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Could you describe your job or career and your daily duties?
What we basically do is we make the computers that runs the locomotives or the trains. We have different clients from different railroad agencies. We develop a software, test the software, and then install it at the locomotive to ensure the safety of the locomotive. My first engineering education, I started as a chemical engineer. But 3 or 4 semesters later, I figured that chemical engineering is not my career. So I decided to switch to electrical engineering, where I find myself doing much better than chemical engineering, and also I enjoy it.
How did you prepare for your job or career? I mean the college, training, or any other things that you...
Well, I had several internships before and after I graduated. I had about 3 internships. One of them in Louisiana, in a control system consultant company. The other one, after I graduated, I had an internship for 3 months with Rockwell Collins. And after that, I got a job at the nuclear power plant in Iowa.
Wow. How long you been doing this job?
I was hired at Waptec about 3.5 months ago.
Is this your first job?
As an engineer, it's not my first job. I worked at Palo, the nuclear power plant in Iowa. I worked there for about 2 years, and then I found another job offer at Waptec.
And how did you decide on this career?
Well, from the beginning, from my high school and intermediate school, I figured that I have a good background in science and math. So the only way I can utilize this intelligence is to seek an engineering career, which I have finally accomplished.
Mr. Emam, if you had the opportunity, would you choose the same career again?
Of course. Well, I chose this career after an error and trial. I tried the chemical engineering, and I find that it doesn't fit me. That's why I switched to electrical. If I can pull the time back, I would definitely choose electrical engineering. It is not as hard as people might think of. It's just too much work, but there is nothing that is hard about it.
Looking back, Mr. Emam, what could you or would you have done differently to better prepare yourself for your job or career?
That's a good question. English school to broaden my English skills before I go to the engineering school. Well, it took me longer than it should have been, and that's just due to the English difficulty at the time I started my education.
From your experience, do you think your job career will grow or decline in the next 10 years?
I believe it's in a continuous growth since the government of the United States has mandated all the railroad companies to install our safety software, which is called ETMS 7. And this is what we have been working on since I was hired, and we will be working on this for the next 7 years at least. So I'm confident that I will have a job for the next 7 years.
Okay, will you suggest it as a career to one of your children or young person in the college?
Of course, of course. Engineering is the heart of our lives. Without engineering, we will not be here having a camera recording. All this is engineering work, technology.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Emam. What advice in regard to education or training would you give a student today that was considering going into a similar career as yourself?
My advice to them would be, there is nothing hard, and at the same time there is nothing easy. All what it takes is to start the work and start doing it. Sooner or later you will get there, sooner than you expect. Just work as hard as you can.
Okay, Mr. Emam, it's really Joe fine time with you, and we thank you for giving us your time for this interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.